Welcome to today's CAD lesson. In today's tutorial, we explore into much details the Design Accelerator in Autodesk Inventor to create this model you see in front of you. At the end, we would also animate just like you saw in the beginning of this video. If you would have any comments, questions, concerns, or contributions, you can drop them down in the comment section below. I would respond to them as soon as possible. Let's go ahead and begin with today's exercise. I have my software open. Let's go ahead to get a worksheet to begin with the first part, which is going to be the gearbox. And so new app here or Control plus N. This is going to be a part. So under the metric template, under part, create 2D and 3D objects. Let's select the standard millimeter IPT template and create. As mentioned, this first part is going to be the gearbox. Let's pick the 2D sketch command up here. And we would create this sketch on the top plane, and so I'll select that. Now let's go into the rectangle tab and pick the one that says 2-point center rectangle. We'll bring that to the origin and draw our rectangle. You can drop that here. Now let's pick the dimension command and dimension the width of this as 225. Let's check that. We would also dimension the height as 225 and check that. Okay, now what I want to do next is to offset this rectangle inward to a distance of 18 and enter. Now we can go ahead and finish this sketch. Double click the scroll mouse button to get your work in focus. In the next step, we want to extrude. Let's pick the extrude command up here. Where we want to extrude, or the profile we want to extrude is going to be this inner profile, and so I'll select that. But the direction under the behavior, I want to change that to the second one that says flipped, and specify the distance of this extrusion as 100. The preview looks fine, and so I'll go ahead and OK. Now I'm going to turn around this model. Let's select this face and create another sketch on there. Even before we do that, so let's just undo and get the isometric view. Let's go ahead and apply some fillets before. And so the fillet command, the fillet radius will change to 10 and apply it to this edge, also this inner edge. Let me turn this around to that edge, also this inner edge. Let me do same for this edge, that edge. Okay, this and that. Could have also done that in our sketch anyway, but that is fine. Let's OK. Now we can turn this around, select this face and create our sketch on there. Let's project this face and pick the offset command. We want to offset this outer profile to a distance of 18 and enter that. Now we can finish this and we want to extrude that profile. So the extrude command, let's select the profile, which is this one. The distance of extrusion, we want to change that to 18 as well. Let's OK. All right, let me get the isometric view. Now we want to create those holes inside which we would be placing our bearings. And so select this face and create a sketch on there. Let's now pick the circle command. Let's draw a circle at this point, which is the midpoint of this very line. And so I will draw. The diameter of this circle is 80. Let's type that and enter. Now you can finish this sketch and we want to extrude. The extrude command. The profile has been correctly selected, but the boolean, we want that to be a cut, and we want that cut to go through all, which means it would go through this part and also that part, just like we see in the preview. Now I'll go ahead and OK. We want to do same on this side also. So let's select that face and create a sketch. But we'll go about it differently this time. So we would use the hole command. To put a hole, we first have to put a point. Let's pick the point command up here and place the point at the midpoint of this line. And so there we have it. Now you can finish this sketch and pick the hole command. There we have it here. Now the hole type is going to be the first one that says simple hole. The seed is the first one that says none. And for the behavior termination, we want that to be the second one, that is it through all. The direction is fine, but the diameter you should change to 80 mm. So I see the preview, it looks fine. I'll go ahead and OK. There we have it, our gearbox is ready. Let's go ahead and change the appearance, and so I'll drop down the appearance options and change this to light red. I'll go ahead and also save into the save command. I have prepared a folder already, and so I'll look for that folder and save this as the gearbox. For the rest of the parts, we won't model them. We will get them within the Design Accelerator, and we do that within an assembly template. So let's go ahead and just open an assembly template to begin our assembly. We click on New App here, and let's pick the standard millimeter IAM template under Assembly, Assemble 2D and 3D components, and hit Create. Now, I like to always change the view, the visual style to shaded with edges. Let's go back into the Assembly tab. We want to bring in the first part we created, which is the gearbox. And so click on Place. Let's locate that in the folder we are working in. There I have it, and so I'm going to select that and open. Okay, I have it here. Just right click and place grounded at origin. You can right click and OK. Great. Now that we have our part, it is grounded just like we see. We are unable to move it, which is exactly what we want. We want to now put in the second part, which is going to be our bearings. As mentioned, we will get this within the Design Accelerator. Let's go into the Design tab, and here under Power Transmissions, we would find bearings. Let's select that. It says we have to save our assembly before we continue, and so I'll hit OK and save. Let's save this as the gearbox assembly. Now I have this bearing generator opened. That is the dialog box. Let's specify the details of the bearing we want. Under the Design tab, we want the bearing to be of the standard BSI. If you don't have that selected, just drop down and pick BSI. Also for the category, we want all angular contact ball bearings, and so I'll select that. Let's click outside to get off that small dialog box that opened. Here we also have to specify the minimum or the minimal required outside diameter. Since we want to place that bearing within this groove, I will define this with the groove. And so let's pick the cylindrical face, check that that is where we want to place the bearing, and so I'll select this cylindrical face. We can see straight away that that minimal diameter or outside diameter of the bearing has been by default detected. Okay, the second option is also to specify the minimal required inside diameter. I want to use an inside diameter within 30 to 40. So what I'm saying is Autodesk Inventor should bring me all bearings that are within that range of inside diameter. And also for the thickness, I like a thickness within 16 and 18. Now here we can also specify the start plane, which is the plane we want our bearing to start from. And so once we click on start plane, we can pick the face we want it to begin from. I want to pick this face. All right, now let me browse our bearings. It has pulled out all those bearings within the parameter range I specified for it. Let me pick the first one that says the BS292 whatever. Just click on that and OK. It's asking us to create a file for that bearing, which is fine, and so we would OK again. There we have our bearing neatly placed. But we need how many more? 3 more. We can just click on this, right click. Let's copy it and click outside here, right click. Let's place or paste. We would paste another one and then also another one. All right, now we can constrain these 3 bearings to these grooves. Let's go back into the assembly tab, pick constraint. The type is going to be an insert, so we'll check that. And we want to insert, let's see, this edge onto this edge. Okay, but it's not sitting well in the groove. So for the solution, we'll change that to aligned. And let's hit apply. We'll do same for the others. So we would select this edge and insert it to this edge. Okay, that has been rightly placed. Let's hit apply. And then finally, we would do same for this bearing. Let's insert it to this edge and we would hit apply. Now let's close this. So just like that, our bearings have been placed. Next, we want to place our shaft. We can also get shaft from the Design Accelerator. So let's go into the Design tab. And here under Power Transmission again, we would find shaft. Just click that. You would have the shaft component generator dialog box open. Now we have a shaft we can modify. Just click to place this here for now. Here, if you have a number of sections here, all you need to do is to close all of them with this close icon here until you have just one left. And we would edit that. So just double click on it and you can specify the diameter of the shaft. Here, our diameter is going to be 40. I have that in here because I had already created a shaft with the same parameters. Once you have the 40 as the diameter specified, you can also change the length here to 85, which is the length of the shaft. You can preview it. Let me just even change it to 200 so we see. If you hit OK, it is going to change to 200, but let's go with the 85 we had and hit OK. Now here you can also add some sections, and so for the first edge you can either add a chamfer, you can add a fillet if you want to. So once you hit chamfer, it would open up this box for you. You can specify the chamfer distance and the angle, but we wouldn't do that today. All we want to do is to specify the diameter of the shaft and the length, which is what I have done here. Now let's go up here to the placement. So for the placement, the first option says we should select the cylindrical face we want to place this shaft. So let me just click on that and place the shaft within this cylindrical hole, and so I'll click there. The second option says we should also select the planar face or the face that this shaft should start from. I'll turn this around and select this face, and we have the last option that says we should select the face or the work plane as orientation reference. We can use this top face as our orientation reference, and so I'll click on that. Straight away I see a preview, which is exactly what I want. I would OK and OK again. I'll go through this 3 more times. And so shaft, these are the shaft parameters, which is fine. And so for the placement, the first one is going to be within this hole. I want to start from this face, and this is going to be the planar or the reference face. Let's hit OK and OK again. We'll do that another time. So this is going to be the hole, the face, and the reference. Let's hit OK. OK again. One last time. This is going to be the hole. Let me select that face. So the hole, the face, and the reference. Let's hit OK and OK again. Let's get the isometric view. That has been neatly done. But I just want to make a little modification to these shafts. So for this very one, just double click on that. You get access to just the shaft. If you want to edit anything in a Design Accelerator, this is how you do it. Just double click on the part and you can go into the part file and make those modifications you want. I just want to create a little extrusion, and so I'll select this face and create a sketch. Now let's pick the circle command. We will draw a circle from that point of diameter 30. Let's enter. I'll finish this and extrude it to a distance of 50 and OK. Now we are within the part of this shaft. To return to our assembly, we just have to click on return. We'll do same for the 3 other shafts, and so just double click. Now select the face, create a sketch. We will pick the circle command. Let's draw a circle of diameter 30. We would enter that. Press E straight away so you can extrude, and then the distance of extrusion is 50. You OK and return to the assembly. Also for this shaft, double click, select this face, create a sketch. We will pick the circle command. Draw a circle of diameter 30. Let's enter E to extrude. The distance of extrusion is 50. Let's OK. Return to the assembly. And the final one, we'll select the face, create a sketch, pick the circle command, draw the circle of diameter 30, enter. Let's finish this, extrude to a distance of 50. Let's hit OK and return to our assembly. And so just like that, also our shafts have been neatly done. Now we can go ahead and generate our last component, which are going to be the bevel gears. Let's go into the design tab. We are in there already. Under the power transmission again, under the spare gear, drop that down, you would find bevel gears. We would click on that. All right. Now let's turn our attention to this section, which is the gear 1 and the gear 2. So for the gear 1, we want to show the component. The number of teeth, we want that to be 36. You can specify that. For the gear 2 also, we want the component to show. And the number of teeth, we want it to be 48. But let's specify some details as well. So for the cylindrical face, which is the cylindrical face, we want to put this gear. Let me pick this face. For the gear 1 also, I am going to pick this face. The faces should be adjacent. And also we can go ahead and pick the plane face or the select flip reference. And so I will click on that. For the gear 1, which one is the gear 1? It is that one with the 36 number of teeth, which is the smaller one. And so this is it. For the planar face, I am going to pick this very one. Okay, and then for the planar face, also for the second gear, I will pick this face. I see a preview that looks fine, and so I'll go ahead and OK. Let's hit OK again. Okay, so there we have it. Those gears have been generated. You can even click to drive and see. All right, now let's go ahead and create the other two. I'll get the isometric view. Okay, let's go back. Bevel gears. Same components or same parameters. We want to place the smaller one on this cylindrical face. So select the option. It is going to be the one opposite this one. And so here we have it. For the bigger one, we would place it here. And then we can pick the plane face. We want that as a reference. And so let's pick for the bigger one this face. And then for the smaller one, I'll click on the plane and we would pick this face. We also see a preview of that. That looks fine. We go ahead and OK. You can OK again. Okay, so that has been neatly done. Let me get the top view. Awesome. I'll get the isometric view. We can even just click and drive to see how that also looks. Great. We are almost ready to animate our model. Before we do that, let me change the appearance of some parts. And so let's select the bearings, hold down Control, pick the first one, the second, the third, and the fourth. I want to change the appearance to the blue wall paint glossy, and so I'll just type B. So I move to the B column and pick that. Okay, now for the bevel gears also, I'll select the two, drop down and pick I think it's diamond plate or something. So let me just type even P. Let's see if I have it there. Okay, so polished diamond plate is what I want. I'll select that. And then for the shaft, let me select all of them. Drop down the appearance options. And we want to do snow. So type S and pick the snow. Now also I would like to add a shadow and a reflection. You can even add a ground plane if you want. To animate this, we first have to put a motion. Let's go back into the Assembly tab, pick the constraint. We have a number of tabs here. We would go into the Motion tab. The type is going to be the first one that says Rotation. For the solution, we want to pick the second one that says reverse. And we want to pick those two selections that we want to apply this reverse motion to. First, we would pick this face, and this is going to be the second selection. Let's hit apply and close this. Now let's drive and see what we have. Okay, we would also want this to move on its own. Let's see how we can do that. First of all, let me collapse all here so I get a clean model browser. Now let me look for the gears. Where are they? Okay, so there I have them. So for the bevel gears, to open that up, and let's look for the bigger gear here, which is the bevel gear 2 H21. I'll click on the plus sign next to it, and I'll go into the origin, hit on the plus sign also. Now for the XZ plane, let me click it, right click, and we will turn on the visibility. That is the plane I would want to use to apply an angular relationship just so I can drive this. So go into constraint. For the type, we want it to be angular, and the solution is going to be the directed angle. We would pick the first selection as the plane we just made visible. The second is going to be this face, and let's hit apply. We can close this. Let's right click and collapse all to get a clean model browser. Now hit on the relationships, so the plus sign next to it. Let's come down, let's locate the angular relationship we just put, which is here. So click on it, right click, and choose drive. Now for the drive, we want it to start at 0 degrees. The end, we will change that to 180. That is fine for this animation. Let me open this up for more options. For the increment, we want it to be total number of steps. And for the total number of steps, let me do here 360. And then I want the repetition to be start, end, and start. And I want to do that 2 times. Now let me hit on play. Let's see what we have. Notice how the teeth are neatly sitting inside each other, which is exactly what we want to see, especially with gear animations. Okay, I think this is fine, and so I'm going to stop this and close. I will want to hide some planes and also some work axes we have in here. So for that, we would go back into view, and let's drop down the object view. Here we want to turn off all work features, and so just click on that. We can see those features and accesses are all gone. Okay, now let's hit on save one last time. Let's say yes to all and okay. Now I would want to show you how you can find the parts for this assembly. Now when you go back into the folder you are working in, and so let me find mine, you'll find this folder here, which is how you saved the assembly into Gearbox assembly. Just open that up, you'll find Design Accelerator, and here are all the parts you use. So for the bearing, for the bevel gear 1, the 2, the 3, so on and so forth. Okay, if you go back also, you would find all the shafts in here. If you need the part files for anything at all, you can easily find them. Okay, and so that is going to be it for this tutorial. I hope this has been helpful and you have a good appreciation of the extent to which you can use the Design Accelerator. If you would have any comments, questions, concerns, or contributions, kindly drop them down in the comment section below. I would respond to them as soon as possible. Don't forget to share this with your card friends, save this, and also give me a thumbs up. I'll see you soon in the next tutorial. Bye.